Hello everyone, welcome to the first episode of GreatBits. This series is meant for the smaller pieces of the gaming world that still deserve attention. Games that you can complete in a single sitting or two, aspects of games that are either popular or unique or just rarely done well, stuff like that. Shorter videos for shorter games. So today, we're taking a look at a certain geometric puzzle platformer. Thomas Was Alone was created by Mike Bethel, British indie game developer. It was originally created as a flash game from a 24-hour game jam while Bethel was working at Blitz Games. Later working as lead game designer at Bossa Studios, Bethel worked on a new version of Thomas Was Alone on his own time in the Unity engine. This full version was released on Steam on October of 2012 and has since been ported to several consoles since release. So, it's time we ask ourselves, why is Thomas Was Alone a great bit of gaming? Thomas Was Alone is narrated by Danny Wallace, a British comedian who you may recognize as Sean in the Assassin's Creed series. The narration very slyly acknowledges the nature of the game, referencing specific mechanics, various visual cues, and plot devices with a distinct dry humor inspired by Douglas Adams, author of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The story of the game is focused around a vague mention of an event at an artificial life company that causes multiple programs to become self-aware. One of these AIs is Thomas, a small red rectangle. As soon as he's brought into existence, Thomas starts to explore the world around him, falling and jumping through an ever-changing world, searching for whatever it is he's meant to find. As he passes through levels, Thomas meets Chris, John, and other quadrilaterals of various shapes and colors. Each of these AIs has their own special abilities and stories. It's incredible how well you can understand the characteristics of these simple shapes just by narration. The game does an excellent job of demonstrating the show, don't tell idea of character development by pushing the player to understand the conflicts of the game without elaborate visuals. There are no cutscenes or dialogue, not even faces on the characters. They're just rectangles that jump. Yet somehow, you feel the same curiosity and desperation as they do as you jump through each level. This short game is a fitting challenge for platforming fans. There's nothing too difficult involved in these building block puzzles. In fact, a lot of them just come down to a little bit of thought and a good amount of accuracy. The teamwork style of the game was inspired by characters being chained together and working as a single unit in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Utilizing each character's various strengths, weaknesses, and abilities, you have to cross toxic water, shifting paths, and spiked walls to the end portal of each level. There are 10 worlds of 10 levels each, or 12 worlds if you include the free DLC, which also introduces 3 new characters with their own stories. The game is only 2 to 4 hours long and far from difficult, allowing your mind to focus more on the story and the journey involved, rather than solving grueling puzzles just to finish a level. There are still a good handful of tricky trials, but more often than not, the difficulty of the game comes from you attempting to outthink it, rather than following the path of least resistance. But, taking a step back, thinking about the abilities at your disposal, and observing the world around you will put you back on the path of success. The visuals of Thomas Was Alone are very obviously based around the idea of minimalism. This art style was inspired by Dutch painter Piet Mondrian. This isn't meant as a criticism, but there's nothing very fancy about the visuals in this game. I mean, as I mentioned, the characters don't even have faces. This reminds you that despite the in-depth personalities displayed over the course of the game, you're working with computer programs. Even Thomas and the others don't know who they are, and more distinct features would have taken away from the connection established by the player. The world focuses on this digital aspect, using parallax scrolling in the background to imply the world being inside a computer without ruining the minimalistic feel. The music, composed by David Housden, feels as though it's coming out of the world itself. Housden initially had trouble writing pieces for simple shapes, but eventually decided to compose music to match the personality of the characters rather than the visuals of the game. The partially procedural music emphasizes the feeling of curiosity and whim that are ingrained in this computerized world. Thomas Was Alone is a simple yet heartfelt game. Through 3 distinct acts, you're pulled into the lives of these quadrilaterals by the emotional weight of the narration, exploring the world with them as they begin to understand their purpose as newly born AI. Through the most basic video game mechanic of jumping, you have to traverse obstacles and help each of your characters triumph over their weaknesses as a team. It's the most connected you'll ever feel to a few colorful squares. That is what makes Thomas Was Alone a great bit of gaming. Thank you all for joining us on our first episode of GreatBits as we hopped through the digital world of Thomas Was Alone. If you have a favorite series or a single game that you think is great, leave a comment of your choice and we'll look into it. If you feel Thomas Was Alone needs more attention, let us know, and we'll work on replacing this video with a full-length episode. We're just testing the water with this new series, so let us know what you think and what the next episode of GreatBits should be about, or if you want anything different from these videos. Thanks again for watching. Now go play a great game. We'll see you next time.